often get asked about this statement, what we resist persists, or, chasing enlightenment is only is counterproductive and will lead to the opposite. So I want to review what this is, what's going on here. And I'm going to go back to an early teacher of mine, Alan Watts, who coined this as the backwards law. And it states that seeking a positive experience can lead to a negative one, while accepting a negative experience can be positive. So he called it the backwards law. And in this talk, I want to explain the backwards law and how it affects our desire for peace or our desire for happiness. And stay till the end when I'll explore the implications of this for our pursuit of enlightenment and what to do to avoid getting stuck. The experience of struggling to fall asleep illustrates the backwards law. This is where I really came into contact with it early in my life. The more we strive for something, the less likely we are to achieve it. So when we obsess over our desire to sleep, our efforts backfire, keeping us awake. However, when we find ourselves drifting off effortlessly, when we shift our focus away from trying to force sleep and engage in other unrelated activities like, for example, reading, something I did, we find that sleep comes. So this phenomenon really seems paradoxical. Why do we attain what we want when we stop actively pursuing it? So the backwards law suggests that letting go of our intense desire or effort paradoxically leads to success, whether it's falling asleep or achieving any other goals in life, including mindfulness or awakening. It sounds bizarre. It sounds backwards, doesn't it? That's why he called it the backwards law. But it's true. Look in your life. Is it true in your life? It's true in everything in my life. And spiritual progress was no different. So imagine setting a goal to become enlightened. You invest all this effort, but you may also experience negative emotions due to the gap between your current state and the desired outcome. And this gap affects your well-being and causes suffering. You can actually suffer because you want something so bad, and it doesn't seem to be happening as fast as you want it. Again, the backwards law. It's why he coined it, the backwards law. It states that striving too hard for something can lead to more negative outcomes and feelings than before. And this contradicts the conventional idea that hard work and hard effort brings greater success and happiness in our lives. So given this, what's the way forward? What do we do? What do we do to attain enlightenment or happiness or mindfulness or anything else in life? Let's draw first upon what Alan Watts specifically said on this. And I'll quote, "The more you try to grasp something, the more it slips through your fingers." So this law taps into the energy flow of our efforts and focus. So when we cease trying too hard, we often find that what is desired actually arises. So the backwards law suggests that there's a limit to how much effort we should exert, right? Sometimes it's essential to step back, let things unfold naturally. It's kind of about finding a balance and recognizing when there's excessive striving and when this excessive striving becomes counterproductive. Our usual mindset usually connects effort directly with rewards. And this drives us to work harder and harder for something tangible. However, this is linear thinking, and it doesn't apply to all aspects of our life. It might work for tasks with measurable outcomes, such as learning to play the trombone as I did, or building your cardio capacity. But it falls short in more complex and psychological areas. The equation of effort leading to success isn't straightforward in these more psychological areas, like again seeking happiness, love, and of course enlightenment. The more we strive, the more elusive it seems to be. Trying too hard to be happy can ironically lead to unhappiness, and relentlessly pursuing love can actually make us feel lonelier. So understanding this inverse relationship between effort and psychological outcome is crucial. It reminds us that effort is valuable, but doesn't always translate directly into the outcome that's desired. So this awareness encourages a balanced approach where we appreciate the value of some effort. So it's not about sitting back and doing nothing, but without expecting a guaranteed result, especially again in those psychological areas. So the backwards law also might encourage us to think beyond the more superficial goals and reflect on, what do we want from life? I always say, what's the most important thing? Really get in touch. Get to know what is your most important thing. It prompts us to look deeper, to seek a deeper meaning. What's most fulfilling, rather than just pursuing worldly achievements. Watts suggests that we often don't know what we aspire to because we don't define it. So the backwards law doesn't specifically instruct us on what to focus on, but rather guides us to channel our energy towards understanding our deepest aspirations, what's most important to us, to kind of scrutinize what we've set up as goals and desires until we uncover what's actually driving those. So this backwards law can really serve as a tool to get us to look deeper into our motivations, turning inward and really looking deeply at our innermost aspirations, to question why we desire something. Why do we desire spiritual awakening? What do we hope to achieve from it? Whether it aligns with our fundamental, deepest aspirations. So it's a real introspective process. So we can see the difference between that kind of surface level aspirations or desires and our deeper aspirations. And this understanding encourages us to move our practice forward without striving, and at the same time leading to a more fulfilling life, connecting with our actual true nature. So pursuing happiness and peace through constant seeking often backfires, challenging the widespread belief that happiness hinges on us achieving all these worldly goals. So this perpetual seeking actually can diminish our happiness compared to a simple letting go and experiencing joy with what's arising in the present moment. You see so much of this anxiety around us from people's attempts to control everything that's happening around them. And this tendency disregards the inherent limits of our control and leads us to impose our will on things that can't be controlled, our emotions, external circumstances. But when we foster a sense of self-acceptance and we move closer to peace by relinquishing our attempts to try to control life. And regarding enlightenment, just to conclude, the more we fixate on becoming enlightened, the more messed up we'll often feel. Regardless of our actual spiritual realizations, there might be many, but we still feel messed up. It's all about letting go of illusions rather than trying to achieve a state of mind. So this concept of the backwards law can actually provide a real foundation for our pursuit of enlightenment. It highlights this paradoxical nature between desire and attachment, what can hinder rather than facilitate progress on the spiritual path. Attachment is recognized as an obstacle to attaining enlightenment in all spiritual traditions and in mindfulness in general. When we become overly fixated on the goal of enlightenment or being mindful, we overlook the subtleties and the depths of our moment-to-moment experience, and this leads to frustration, and many people just give up on it. So it's central, this backwards law, to our journey towards spiritual enlightenment. Letting go involves releasing rigid attachments to outcomes and allowing for a more open, receptive approach. In the pursuit of enlightenment, there's often an emphasis on letting go of ego-driven desires, attachments, identifications, fixed beliefs, opinions, creating space for a deeper understanding, transformation, and realization. So it really underscores the idea of non-striving, right? Excessive effort and forcefulness are often counterproductive. So the state of non-striving, where we focus on being present and receptive, rather than forcing, trying to force a predetermined outcome. So if we strive too intensely for enlightenment, we can actually impede the natural unfolding of enlightenment. It's who we truly are anyway. Further, the backwards law and the path to enlightenment involve inner exploration. It encourages us to know the self in order to forget the self, as I've said in other videos, and understanding the drivers underneath this deeper aspiration. So it's a deep self-inquiry. As I said, letting go of illusions. It's all about letting go of illusions, not seeking some knowledge out there. And it often involves transcending the dualistic thinking that the mind is so captured by, and instead embracing all the paradoxes that exist. The backwards law, with its apparent contradiction that letting go can bring one closer to the outcome, invites us to embrace all the inherent paradoxes of this spiritual journey. And this acceptance of paradoxes and the ability to navigate them are integral aspects of spiritual growth and ultimate realization. I hope you found this video helpful. I've been asked, as I said, this question so many times, I thought I'd do a video on it. Goodbye, and hope to see you soon.